Audio. Is audio going? Hello, audio. First 2 minutes, no audio. Couldn't even hear my banjo playing, even though my dog's missing now. It doesn't ever work on these microphones because they're directional and they take the sound. Stop it. I'm just gonna play banjo for a while because what's up? Jared is out sick and Flip is running late. He's stuck at work. So it is just me right now. I think it is not. It's because they wanted to run from the Iran thing. They didn't want to talk about Iran. What's up, Steve? We got Steve, Troy, Nissan install. Don't know who that one is right now. Those guys maybe Flip will pop on with a cell phone or something. I don't know if he can do that, but doggy, don't. But I'll just charge on anyway. Anyway, I put the link up at the top if anybody wants to join in, talk crap on Iran or anything like that. Yeah, Steve, call in. Somebody should call in. We asked Risto, maybe Jonathan, who knows? But I don't know. All I got here is a bunch of crap, like I got every single week. I guess normally Jared would start with an ad, but I don't know if I trust Jared with those ads anymore because I don't think he's taking all the vitamins. He's not taking the vitamins the quartering is giving him. He's not taking the vitamins that Tim Pool is giving him, all the good stuff for your body. They say it's good for your body and makes your body run and work well. I don't think that they have been taking them. All the vitamins on sale, all the power stuff, all the ways to raise your T, and you're still getting sick. Unacceptable. Let's see here. Running solo. I'm so used to when I'm clicking around on stuff to have those guys jibber jabber and take us way off subject, which getting way off subject is usually better than on subject. So I apologize for being on subject more tonight, maybe. Unless someone calls in and gets me off subject. That would be funny. So, what a week. What's everybody think about Iran? Iran, I am. What is this? Look at this. We got Steve. You're saving my life. How's it going? I can barely hear you. Let me take this off. You can't hear anything? I can barely hear you. Talk, check. Can you hear me? Hear me? Check. Not working? All right. Maybe we'll get Steve back here in a second. In the meantime, we need to talk about the wars that are going on. The very first war, I don't know if you saw this war. We got all sorts of wars going on. Return of the neocons, man. It's all coming back. It's all starting all over again. But the first war we're talking about is the Goyslop war. Goyslop! Because this is the type of stuff that we should share on this channel. McDonald's.
I would like to formally apologize to the McDonald's CEO. About a week ago, I may have brought a lot of people.
Oh, this is the wrong one.
Your product reviews.
Where's the original one?
This like the entire world is making fun of you right now, but I know you're a regular guy like me, just out here trying to sample some product. Some may even call it a burger. I have a couple of quick tips that I think might help with your future delicious lunches where you consume entire burger product. First up, and this is an easy one to overlook, learn to hold a burger. This will project authenticity that you've ever been in physical contact with a McDonald's burger before. Next up, when you take a bite out of the product, make sure that there's actually less of it than there was before you took the bite. This will help really sell people on the fact that you are willing to consume the product. Other than that, I think you've got a bright future. Follow me. I'm delicious. I would like to formally apologize to the McDonald's CEO.
Let me see here. That was the wrong clip because I was trying to get the original clip of that one. But we got Steve popping back in. Hello.
Hey, does that work now?
Yeah, that works great.
Could you guys could you hear me before?
I could, but it was very, very faint.
I think what happened was I had these headphones on Bluetooth, but anyway.
Nice. Well, thank
All
you for
right.
jumping on and saving my skin here because I was just gonna ramble about nothing for a while there. Maybe Flip would show up, but I don't think he's even gonna be able to make it. As you saw, how you been doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah. What do you think about everything going on in the world right now? Give us your take.
Well, it's crazy. I mean, I can barely keep up with it for one thing. I don't understand 99% of it, but it's kind of entertaining. I mean, there's always something interesting going on, that's for sure.
Troy said the same thing. Here's what I think on Iran. I have no idea what to think. I think that is the only honest take because every single thing I'm watching is a complete seesaw. Like it's either the best thing in history or the worst thing and we're already dead. And I've seen nothing in between, absolutely nothing in between. And
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can really guess on it. Yeah.
I see all these different podcasts and stuff that show up in my algorithm, and by now I'm like thinking none of these people really know what they're talking about because they're all saying different things all the time and
making different guesses and stuff. I don't think we can really
Yeah.
know how it's going to turn out, except I mean, I guess you could go off of past wars and stuff that have happened.
Yeah.
John, any pictures lately?
Yeah, I try to. Every weekend I try to like come up with something.
Where do you draw those? Do you draw those? I'm going to pull up your most recent one.
Just in my house.
Just in your house? I was thinking you're doing those. I was always imagining you were doing those in church.
Oh no, I did. When I started doing them, I 100% did all of them during church.
Now you just doodle them at your house. You're making like a whole comic book. Are you saving those to put in a comic book?
I have now I've got like hundreds of different drawings, and I'm gonna, if I can get enough of as soon as I get more of the pages colored, I am gonna publish them. Just self-publishing. Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I love those. I love sitting there. Here's one. Here's last week's. This is a part of an ongoing saga when you visited a Christian church, right?
Yeah, they were showing the God Makers, and they had like you're supposed to be able to learn all about the Mormons, and so my dad was the bishop at the time, and so him and some of the other grown-ups at church, they took me and 3 other kids. We were all like 12 or 13, and actually after that, one of the kids that went with us left the church.
Oh, really? Like really soon after?
Yeah, when he was like 13.
Oh, wow. Because he wanted to leave or his parents took him out?
No, he was the only member in his family, but he'd been active, but he went to the God Makers and at this other church, and then he became a born-again Christian after that.
Wow. So the God Makers took him out, huh?
Yeah, but later, that same guy, after that, he changed religions like another 6 times or so.
Well, that's usually what happens, right?
Yeah.
Do you still attend church every single week?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you about the church, really.
Do you do stuff
it's crazy like everything else out there these days, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Do you take callings and all that sort of stuff?
No, but I do play the piano for primary, and
oh wow, I didn't even know you're a piano player.
And I play the organ.
Wow. Are you able to do like the different layers of organ?
Yeah, I can, but I'm not that good at the organ. I'm more of a piano player. But
do they have like the foot pedals going on and all that stuff?
Well, our organ is just it's just like it's only got one layer. It doesn't have pedals at all. So
Mm.
it's more of like just an electronic keyboard that sounds like an organ.
Oh wow. Well, that's awesome that you still play it all the time. Your whole family's still all the way in the church and all that stuff.
All of my kids, there's one of my kids is not active.
Wow.
Um but he hasn't had his name removed or anything because he says he wants to keep his options open.
Well,
And
I guess
then
that's good.
so my wife, she's a total, I mean, she's always gonna be a full believer. I mean, she drank the Kool-Aid. But
she's she's all the way in, huh?
oh yeah, she's all the way in, and that's why I keep going. And I don't really mind going either. Um, Sometimes I go there and I just feel like, man, I do not fit in here anymore. But then I think, well, maybe that makes it more worthwhile for me than all these other people that are here because it's a challenge for me to be there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but do you get along with all the people? Or you like seeing all them and all that?
I get along with them, but the weird thing is I don't like to talk to them about the church because I don't want to say something that's gonna like affect them in any way. You know what I mean? And I used to be the branch president over this congregation like 15 years ago, but so I just changed from that to just being the guy that shows up and nobody really knows what's going on with him.
Wow. So catch this. Like I just found out this week from my parents that the stakes in my parents are still in the house that I was in when I was a kid, and the stakes just got all cut down from like 8 wards down to 5 wards, all that
Mm.
sort of stuff, like the stuff they're doing. And it turns out they have too many churches. And I just found out that the church that I went into was going into growing up, they're selling it now. And that kind of irked me. It kind of pissed me off. I was like, no,
Yeah,
I don't like, what are they going to sell it for? What's it even going to be? Or, I mean, I guess people bulldoze it over.
they sold the one on where I went. They sold the one in California I used to go to.
It's kind of one of the weird things about the Mormon church, how they're not, I mean, I guess they're precious about the temple grounds and all that stuff, but they're not precious about their church.
No,
But
those churches they start to look pretty bad after a while.
yeah, and they always kind of like if you think about them on the inside, they're just like complete modernity of the church. They use separators to have people separate in the room, or a carpet on the walls or stuff. It's like it's almost like cubicle the church in a weird way. But I still loved that church. I mean, I guess you like have some sort of strong affinity for it. But then I was also kind of thinking about this in light of the Iran war, and I'm like, I guess if the church was precious about that land, you'd keep it for 3,000 years and fight a war over it, right? um, Flip says old churches make great chiropractic and herbal healing joints. Well, that's where we could start our joint to like stock up on all the vitamin product that we'll send out to people. I was trying to show that thing of did you see the McDonald's CEO? I had the wrong clip. That guy had a better clip earlier this week where the McDonald's CEO showed himself eating a burger and they said, I'm going to try our product because I eat our product for lunch all the time. And I guess in my mind, this stuff kind of weirdly all meshes together because to me, there's something about managerialism and the CEO of the McDonald's church and the Mormon church and the way they treat their buildings and the way that all that stuff is that it all feels like corporate-y, yeah, a little bit, but at the same time, like I said, maybe there's something good about that. I mean, maybe they would be precious about their temples. Would they start a war over their temples?
It's hard to imagine, but
I couldn't picture it. But
but I don't know. They are like pretty. They love those temples. I mean, they're talking about the temples all the time in church, like every week.
So here it is. I mean, Yahoo Finance does like a video on it, but this McDonald's CEO right here did a whole goofy video. Maybe I can find just the original video of him just really awkwardly eating the sandwich saying, I'm going to try a product. and then all the other CEOs of all the other companies started doing the same here. Let's see here. This is the original video. Start doing the same here.
That we have
Let's see here.
already.
This is the original video.
Love this.
Is that playing my voice over? Do you hear that?
Sorry. That's
Oh, that was on your side. Okay.
I'm getting I'm still
Yeah.
getting used to the tech. I'm trying to
It
get
is-
this on my iPad so I can see.
Oh,
it.
no problem. I thought it was on my side.
So good. I'm going to do
Hopefully-
a
I
tasting
think
right
this'll
now,
work
but I'm going to.
So something about like.
trying to get this on my. Nope.
Oops, I'm still hearing it again.
Yeah, I forget it. I'll just leave that part off.
Okay. Something about like the room of where the CEO is feels like it's inside of the church that I'm upset that they're
Oh,
getting
Yeah, it does. I can almost imagine they have that prickly carpet on there.
Exactly. I was thinking about this when I went and visited church with Kevin again just this last year, and I went and I was in the main area, and I was noticing like in the whole wall behind them, all they had was wood panels and not even really designed. I was like thinking, like, what church doesn't like put some sort of beautification thing back there? Or I mean, I guess most would have a cross or something, but not even like a stained glass window or anything. It's just weird blocks
Yeah,
in the back.
they have like some. Usually, there's sort of like an arch or something kind of in the wall behind them, and
A McDonald's arch.
Eat this for my lunch, just so you know. So here we go. First, holy cow. God, that is a big burger. We've got a very unique kind of sesame poppy sort of bun on it. We've got 2
I wonder if he really
quarter-pound
likes that
patties,
food.
a delicious big
Well,
arch
that's what-
sauce.
This lit up the internet because the way he treats it and acts like it, he acts like he's never come across. Like, watch what happens when he starts eating it.
And of course, some lettuce. So, there's so much going on with this. First of all, let's try to get this thing. I don't even know how to attack it. Got so much to it. Oh, there's also some crispy onions on here as well. I see those kind of coming out. All right, the moment of truth.
So everybody's going crazy because
That
he
is
takes
so
that bite
good.
and it doesn't even look
That's
like
a
he
big
takes
bite
a
for a big arch. It's distinctively McDonald's. Only McDonald's could do this type of burger, but it also is unlike
it's not
anything
much
else
of a
on our
bite.
menu. It's so
Yeah, and everybody's making fun of him saying, "I'm going to eat product. This is this week's product. I will enjoy the product." And it created such a storm that all the other CEOs went out and made their different pictures of them eating it. Like,
Oh, they're actually taking bites out of their stuff.
yeah, they're showing off that they can all bite it right.
That's a burger. That is so good. I love this product. It is so good. I'm going to do a tasting right now.
We love this burger product, which most
It
people
does seem.
call-
It does kind of remind me of the
we're starting
church with all these apologetic debaters and stuff that you've had lately.
Yeah.
Like they're all like trying to show off who actually likes who has the best burger,
For sure.
or
Exactly.
who has the best church.
That doesn't have the sound on it. Well, I guess it's good to not have a Simpsons sound on it. And people are like showing this of them taking the bite of the burger out there and stuff like that. But I don't know. There's something about all of that just that whatever's going on with the Mormon Church feels like it's in the same realm of what McDonald's is, just in the sense of not even knocking on McDonald's. It's just it gets to this level of managerialism or corporatism that feels a little strange, you know. But the McDonald's burger, the McDonald's CEO burger, eat the slop and enjoy the slop.
Yeah, it does. I sometimes think that church meetings are a lot like a commercial
Yeah.
where they're trying to say, here, buy this product that's a video of the and you can get a video of the church meeting that you're in or something.
Yeah.
Wait, let me think this through. My thoughts. It's like you go to you're watching a Christmas special, and the whole thing is just an advertisement to buy a DVD of the Christmas special.
Yeah. Well, that started happening to me with other churches too, because I did start going to some other churches, and I noticed like every single one of them before long just evolved into, we've got the right one, come to the right one because we're the right one, and we're the right one, instead of talking about any sort of, I don't know,
That's like the main.
Do the
That's
right.
kind of the main message most of the time.
Yeah.
That's the main message. And another thing that they've been saying a lot, like kind of, don't be hard on yourself. You know, you're good enough. You're good enough. Then you're doing great. But by the way, why don't we have as many baptisms here as they do in Africa?
Well, I mean, that's kind of new. That's a little bit different than.
Yeah, yeah.
But
That's kind of new. Yeah, but I think a lot of people. I think they know that a lot of people are stressed out
yeah.
over not being able to measure up or whatever, and so they talk about that a lot, but then they still keep
Troy found the
making the
word.
same challenges, like we need 600 baptisms in the next couple months or whatever.
Yeah, Troy found the word brand loyalty. Yeah, that's the word. There's I don't know. I feel like just like you're
I
saying.
might have lost the sound here.
Are you hearing me? Check, check, check.
Shoot.
Did you lose it again? Check, check, check. You hearing? Anyway, well, I'm gonna just do this because I want to
I
talk
don't know
to.
what happened.
Maybe go out and come back in again.
I'm gonna log out. That fixed it last time. I'll be right back.
That sounds good. So Steve's cartoons here, one of the lore things of his cartoon in these, he's making them. They're all kind of like these Harvey Pekar cartoons. He's sharing them over in the Latter-day Longhouse, and they're kind of going along. If you ever saw like the Harvey Pekar or American Splendor cartoons, and they're going along, but they crack me up. But part of the underlying thing is this little guy down here with the mustache is named Dick Dilly in the cartoons, and he is the Boy Scout master who is diddling. He's been diddling the kiddies, and I wanted to ask Steve what he felt about good old Hegseth bringing back the Scouts. The Scouts are coming back. We'll play this here.
Boy Scouts of America prepared over 130 million American boys to make moral and ethical choices, not just during their formative years, but for a lifetime as they grew into men. The first few words of the Scout Oath exemplify this. Quote, "On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country."
It's so crazy I could still say that off of the top of my head as soon as you started doing it, but I guess it's not that crazy.
Are embedded in our communities. They're sponsored by community organizations, service clubs, and churches. Many Boy Scouts have gone on to senior leadership positions in their communities, in business, in our nation's military, and as elected representatives in local, state, and national office. 6 Boy Scouts have been elected President of the United States. 11 of the 12 men to walk on the moon, Boy Scouts. Boy Scout training focused on
We haven't landed on the moon.
Character and leadership development, patriotism, personal fitness, self-reliance, faith, and a wide range of outdoor skills. It was a great program, and this department had a close relationship with the Scouts almost since its inception, as many troops meet on military bases. After 2012, however,
boring, but I wanted to get his take on it. I think I was looking it up. I guess something like 2/3 of all Scouts have quit it. It was like 3 million, and now it's like cut down to 1 million. I don't think they're reigniting that Frankenstein there. But I mean, I guess what they're doing is they're going back to not letting the boys and girls overlap with each other over there, keeping it separate or something like that. I don't know if that means no girls in the Boy Scouts at all. Here comes Steve. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Nice. So did you hear this with Pete Hegseth bringing back the Scouts? I told them about, if it's not telling too much tales out of school, about the lore of Dick Dilly back there.
Oh yeah,
makes
yeah.
just a little bit of an appearance down at the bottom of that one. But he was around a lot, or is he just going to be part of one of the characters in your cartoon?
He was around a lot, but the other thing is he's the funniest character. I think it's too easy to just use him, because I don't know. I think he looks so goofy, and if you know what's going on with him, it's just funny.
So. I guess so. Yeah, he was hanging around and running around. And I guess he got in trouble later for something with the kid. Do you know for sure? You
So,
said you got arrested for it?
well, okay, so he when I was about like 12 or 13, he showed up, he started coming to church, and he was a member of the church. He'd been a lifetime member, and then he showed up and he started playing basketball. And the one thing I remember is he was trying really, really hard to like be good at basketball, but he wasn't very good. And that was like kind of like the way everything was with him. Like he would sing musical numbers and he could do a lot of stuff. Um, but and he was very likable. Everybody liked him. I can remember whole testimony meetings that were just people were bearing their testimony about what a great guy he was and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I did learn a lot from him. And I don't have any like bad feelings towards the guy, but he did molest kids.
A lot of kids, or just one
Uh,
that in the
he
scout?
he he molested me, but it was
What?
groping. It was groping. It was not like um yeah, it was not like he was a groper. He would just like grab people.
Just like
Uh,
grabbing your body, or is it touching in well, more than inappropriate places?
well,
I mean, I guess,
grabbing you like through your clothes or whatever. He just like grab your crotch or whatever.
really? Wow. So you guys didn't
Yeah.
like bring any lawsuit against the church or anything like
Well,
that?
well, some of
Not
the
the church,
kids,
the scout.
some of the kids did tell the bishop about it, but then a lot of us defended him because we liked him so much, and we didn't really understand what was going on at the
Wow.
time. But then he moved away, and then we heard like 10 years later that he got arrested in Seattle for molesting a bunch of kids up there. And once we heard that, then all of us were like, "Oh man, that's what he was doing all that time." But I didn't even.
Well, you thought it was just like rough and tumble play or something like that in the
I
moment? Like,
thought
what was going through
here's
your mind?
here's here's what I thought it was. I was on the camping trips. I would fall asleep in my sleeping bag, right, and then he'd be sleeping somewhere nearby, and then I would wake up in the middle of the night, and his arm was like down in my sleeping bag, like groping around, and
What?
well, I just moved his arm out of the sleeping bag because I thought, um,
His arm got lost?
yeah, I thought because sometimes you go on those camping trips, you wake up in the morning and like somebody's feet are like in your face or something, because everybody rolled around during the night or whatever,
Yeah.
or they rolled down a hill or whatever, and so I thought, well, his arm just like must have rolled in there somehow, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
And in fact, one time, the bishop was interviewed all the kids, and he was like, "Well, have you ever been molested?" And I said no, and he said, "Well, because one of the other kids said that he molested him, and are you sure nothing happened?" I said, "Well, sometimes his arm just ends up down in your sleeping bag. That's that's just because he's like sleepwalking or something." That's
Wow.
that's actually what I thought at the
You thought
time.
it was like a sleepwalking. You didn't
Yeah.
realize where his arms were going in the middle of the night.
I didn't even realize it, and I didn't even give it like another thought until when we heard that he got arrested. Then we were like older, so then
So
we were
nobody
like,
did anything with him then at that?
nobody did anything. Yeah, nobody did
Wow.
anything.
Maybe because nobody said he did anything. Like everybody gets kind of covered for it. Like, oh, it's nothing.
No, it was if anything, like there were a couple kids that did say they got molested, and then those kids kind of got like a bad reputation for like telling stories about this guy.
Really? Like they said they were making it up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or they
Wow.
didn't I think the leaders didn't know who to believe, but like all of us kids in the troop that were in this, I mean, we were like kids of the bishop, as the stake president, you
Did you
know.
did you ever see this movie, Bernie?
Bernie, I've seen it, yeah. Jack Black and Shirley MacLaine, yeah.
You remember it was like when I think of Dick Dilly, I kind of think of like Bernie in this, the guy who's Jack Jack Black, yeah, in it, and he is just a member of a small community in Nacogdoches. I don't never know how to say that. Texas, Natchitoches. I know they say it in different ways if they have the accent, but he, I'm guessing is going to spoil it, but it's a true story. He ended up killing Shirley MacLaine right there, and then kind of lived her life, or took her stuff, took her money, and just was kind of running around. This was after he had been kind of her slave boy for years.
Yeah.
And but then what was strange about it is the movie interweaves the testimony of actual townspeople about Bernie, and everybody loved him, and they still loved him even afterwards, even after knowing that he had killed her and continued living on her land and, you know, using her credit cards afterwards, because they just, well, he was just such a great guy and such a big member of the community.
That's kind of what it was like, I think.
That is so wild to me. Maybe it's just those old times, like when Chris Rock says they just told kids to walk it off and take some Robitussin or something like that. Maybe they just how to treat young men or something like that.
Well,
no lawsuits out of it then, huh?
Not there. It wasn't until 10 years later, I think he got busted. But
wow.
You want to hear the weirdest thing that happened though with Dick Dilly that I remember?
What's that? Well, it's already pretty weird. I don't know if I'm ready for the weirdest.
I did make a comic strip of this, but it was a long time ago, so you probably might not have even seen it. But so one time we were on a camping trip, and we were getting ready to go swimming in a like a little pond, and he was like changing into his swimming suit, but he was just walking around camp like totally buck naked, just walking around singing that, "Oh, what a beautiful morning."
Oh, I do remember this comment. Yeah, I do remember reading that one.
Yeah, and then he started to like urinate into the bushes while he was singing. There was a hornet.
You made that comic. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a hornet's nest in there. And all the hornets came out and they stung him like all over his genitals. And it was
a trick to get people to touch him.
Well, I was talking to my friend about this that was there when that happened recently, and he said, well, he said, that's the one thing that makes me think there is a God, you know, because what's the likelihood that something like that would happen to as a person like that?
Wow. Man, that is so weird. I do not recall any sort of shenanigans like that in any of the scout camps. It couldn't have even happened in the scout camps I was at. You were in a different state. This is California, right?
Yeah.
Were there multiple? Because I always kind of doubted how John DeLean kind of jumps on. There's probably millions of molester stories, and I know that actually in the data, it's one of the things the apologists will use is that it was way less Mormon troops. But I thought one of the reasons it was way less Mormon troops is because anytime I went on a camp out, almost every single dad was there too. Like it was hard. I mean, it was never just us and the scout leader.
Yeah, there was always a couple of grown-ups with us.
And they just didn't notice it, or he snuck around it, or they just thought it was just Dick Dilly being Dick Dilly.
Well, I remember when he got stung by all those hornets, the other leader had to put like ointment on him.
Wow. But what did they think about him prancing around naked?
I don't know. I just
tree of life, different times. Like when I go to the gym right now, all the older generations running around naked there.
So what I thought about it was in California. You know, most of the people were in LDS. There were a lot of people that were into skinny dipping and nude sunbathing and stuff like that. So when somebody from church started doing something that was just like a little bit like skinny dipping, like I can remember scouts going skinny dipping on some of our scout trips.
Wow.
And Dick Dilly was one of them that was skinny dipping too, but
just a different place, man. And now, did he go to prison for a long time? Did you follow it at all?
Yeah, he went to prison. It's hard to find out where he is, but if I look around, I can usually find some information. But I think he keeps the internet pretty. he tries to like clear up anything he can off of the internet, I think. But he's still around somewhere. He lives. I'm pretty sure he lives in Salt Lake somewhere right now, and he's not in prison anymore.
Wow.
So you could just run. You could just run into him sometime.
You know what's so wild about that is I watched the Elizabeth Smart thing just recently. Have you seen that yet? It's on Netflix now.
No, I haven't seen it.
The lady who helped kidnap her and took her around is now out and free and doesn't even live that far away from her. And you're like, wow, how can that even happen? Let me see here. Let's see. I wonder if Flip, if you're out there, you almost going to come around or are you even going to try to make it? Flip might be out for the night. But so look at this. The Ayatollah was taken out. I have some slides about that, of course. But I guess just to stay on topic here, let's look at the Ayatollah.
Followers, respected guests, everyone that's on my page, peace be
Let's say the swear word up there. Iran's Shia leader Ayatollah Khomeini wrote a book about legally banging children according to his version of Islam.
upon you all. All right, now, after we exposed the child raping in the books of Imam Khomeini, a group of people came out saying, no, this is not true, Tawheed is lying, these are not the books of Khomeini, trying to stick up for a absolute advocate for child raping. So how about I just show you the book? This here is Tahrir al-Wasila, and it's volume number 2, and published in the Islamic Republic of Iran. We'll take a look at the license of the book, published by the institute that publishes and spreads the teachings of Imam Khomeini. This is their email if you'd like to go and say thank you to them, these advocates for child rape. This is the book that I was forced to study in the Islamic Institute of Iran. This is the book of Sharia law. Come over here. The chapter of marriage, the ethics of conducting a marriage contract, marriage procedure, page number 255. Sharia law number 12, clearly he rules, this is his verdict. لا يجوز وطء الزوجة قبل إكمال 9 سنين. It is not permissible to sexually penetrate the wife before she finishes 9 years old, whether it be permanent or temporary marriage. وأما سائر الاستمتاعات, as for other methods and means of sexual pleasure and entertainment, كاللمس بشهوة, like touching out of sexual lust and hugging out of sexual lust, والتفخيذ, thigh, which basically means folding the thighs of the underage girl and penetrating her thighs. All of these, كاللمس بشهوة, touching the baby girl with a sexual desire, sexual lust, hugging her with a sexual lust, and thighing her, فلا بأس بها, there is no problem in that. فلا بأس بها, there is no problem in that. حتى even with the baby girl, newborn, رضيعة means the baby that is suckling, that is being breastfed, that was born yesterday. Even with the young 1 day-year-old, 1 hour-year-old, 2 hour-year-old baby, what can you do with the baby? He tells you, you can thigh it, you can hug it in a lustful way, and you can touch it in its private areas. And he names it as sexual pleasures with this newborn baby. Then he says, وَلَوْ وَطَأَهَا قَبْلَ التِّسْ وَلَمْ يَفُضَّهَا. And even if this little baby, see this comma? It's not a full stop. It's a continuation of this. This baby, if she is penetrated, deflowered, before the age of 9, لَمْ يَتَرَتَّبْ عَلَيْهِ شَيْء. There is nothing that could happen to the man as a punishment. Nothing happens to the rapist as a punishment. غَيْرَ الْإِثْمِ. Other than that rapist has sinned between himself and God, which means there's no punishment, there's no imprisonment, nothing. He just sinned a minor sin. Then he says, وَإِنْ أَفْضَاهَا, and if he does rape her, penetrate her, insert his male organ inside her, to the point بأن جعل مسلك البول والحيض واحدا, to the point that he rips the passage between the vagina and.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess you get the point. This is all getting. I didn't know this would be such a child diddly thing, but I guess child diddling is all the rage right now in the world.
That's crazy that it's right in their scriptures.
It's right in his writings. This is his own book.
Or, I guess I don't know if it's not the Quran. It's just I don't know if it's really.
Well, he's considered like a pope, which is kind of one of the weird things about ending his life, because it's not just taking out a leader of a place; it's taking out, a cleric, a religious leader. It's like taking out
the Pope and all the cardinals.
Yeah, it's like all the people they took out afterwards. But yeah, it's like taking out Donald Trump and Dallin H. Oaks right at the same time. Kind of wild with that. But let me see here. Let me see if I can get back to my slides. Talking on that thing. Oh,
there was when I lived in St. Louis, they had an Islamic guy. The police, the FBI were following him because they had his phone tapped. And the daughter in the family was becoming worldly. She was like starting to dress in ways that the parents didn't like and having boyfriends and stuff. And the parents killed her. The parents killed the daughter, but it was all recorded by the FBI. It was like a ritual killing of their teenage daughter because
Yeah,
she was
they stone
rebellious.
them to death if they're rebellious to the parents. That world's so crazy, and I think it's kind of funny because so many of the people who are against this war right now also said that they would like to go scorched earth against any sort of the Epstein stuff, no matter what it took out or took down. And it sounds like they're like ready to just nuke the world until it's time to nuke the world. And they're saying, "Hey, don't touch those guys." This was the face the Minnesota mayor eating reminded me of the CEO guys eating their own food right there. But going on, I wanted to get into Iran. Also with Iran, I wanted to really get Flip's take on it, which Flip follows geopolitics pretty darn well and has for years. You remember the Iran Contra? You were pretty
With President Reagan and with Oliver North and the what was it, the Sandinistas or whatever, I can't remember it all, but it had something to do with El Salvador too, right? They were trading weapons and I don't know. I better let you. I can remember bits and pieces of this, but
well, I mean that's 47 years ago. That was the year I was born, actually. And people are saying now. I mean, I have this joke going on "What is a War," which is the title of this thing, which is a play off of Matt Walsh's "What is a Woman," and from the Daily Wire. But now Matt Walsh is out there saying, "Is this war or not a war?" And Ben Shapiro's been out there saying it's not a war. And there's all this fight all over Twitter that this isn't a war, but you took out their president and top religious leader and you've been bombing there, but it's not a war. It's not a war. So it's kind of playing on that thing of what is a woman, like you guys, what do words even mean? You know how long we've been going on after this Derrida stuff. Before getting out of though, Divas, I just wanted to say about Divas. Last week we were showing that video of John that I thought was John Oliver using church people and we were recording. We were like, how did Divas just play John Oliver's thing? And it was John Oliver putting Mormon church people into the middle thing about tithing from John Oliver for stuff. Turns out, as I found out, that was Jonathan Streeter's edit. Like, not only I thought Divas was just completely ripping John Oliver. No, he was completely ripping Jonathan Streeter. And he took Jonathan Streeter's joke idea and put it all together in Jonathan put it in that video, and then Divas was just completely lifting Jonathan's edit. So Divas, the guy who copyright struck us twice, endless lifter of other people's material, which I wouldn't give a crap about if Divas didn't copyright strike us twice. Anyway, so this was the what is a woman thing. I kind of tried to change it with what is war, but it still had like the trans people on there. That was the actual advertisement for what is a woman for Matt Walsh. And Operation Epic Furry. Yeah. I thought I had the other click on. Anyway, I just put into Grok the thing and said, take this thing and change it into what is war. And Grok did a pretty good job on the very first try of just plopping in the right characters in it and all that stuff for what the thumbnail is there. But I think this thing is pretty much a war. Well, I don't know. I guess not. I mean, the Women's March says no war on Iran because the feminists are against the fascists. I'll never make sense of all this. I'll never get it clear of why the feminists are on the side of what's ostensibly the Handmaid's Tale pushers, because back in 79, before 79, or was it even before that, Iran looked just like any sort of Western country with how the women used to dress and all that sorts of stuff.
yeah.
And then after the revolution, I guess you can look at Iran women pre 1979. Everybody's probably already seen this. There they all are, just looking like the Brady Bunch and Western women and all that sorts of stuff. And then the Handmaid's Tale that they're all, I think I have a picture. They're all so afraid of like the Handmaid's Tale stuff marching around here. Oh, I thought I had a picture of it. I did not. Here it is. People are saying, like, I will never not be hilarious to the same retarded SLR gobbling weirdos who walking around dressed as handmaids are now collectively wetting themselves because Donald Trump killed the guy who literally made women walk around dressed as handmaids. But I don't know that killing that guy is going to cure them of that, free them of that. what a lot of the critics of this are saying is that no matter how much you fight, what you might just get back is the same regime, kind of just like what happened in Venezuela. Like taking out that regime is not so easy.
It'll be interesting to see how, because he's destroyed so many. I mean, I don't mean to say that in a negative sense, but he's taken out so many problems. He's changed so many things. How much of it will last after he's gone, and how much of it's going to just.
Yeah, it was all that, and I have, like Troy said, like you said, I don't know what's going to happen. It seems like in the past, whenever we destabilize regions like this, it just becomes a long quagmire, and we get a bunch more immigrants from that place. Tooele is going to change into Iran, I guess. But I don't know. A lot of different people are trying to say, "Oh, it's way worse than that. It's going to turn into World War III." And I don't know that that's so much the case, because I think part of what they did, kicking Venezuela and kicking Iran, is going off of some sort of intel that the places that we always assumed Russia and China would just immediately back, they didn't. And they maybe weren't ever going to, or maybe they're extremely weakened or something like that.
Yeah. Aren't those two countries important to China for like oil?
Yeah, they're really
Yeah.
important. And I think like what I was listening on, it's CBS, so you can't listen to it. It's Larry Ellison's stuff. You can't listen to it. That's just Zionist propaganda. But they were saying China needed Iran more than Iran needed China, just for like the way that they'd purchase stuff from them. But supposedly, with all these types of things going back, and you remember that channel, The China Show, I've showed you before?
Yeah.
I don't know if people like watch that. Like, if you watch that, so like the internal world of China and Iran, I don't know about Russia so much. I think Russia's fine, except they got that Ukraine war going on. Those two countries are shit shows on the inside. They got major internal problems that aren't really advertised out at all. And people keep talking about China like it's way ahead of us in its industrialization. One of the things that show constantly shows is every single piece of supposed gadgetry they take and make better from us is all faulty and broken and doesn't work. Like everything they still, like they can't even make e-bikes right. They can't even make smart cars right, and all that sort of stuff. All their stuff breaks and blows up. But beyond that, there's major internal problems with all the factories and all the people, and they've got 1 billion people there, and 90% of them are in extreme poverty, and that place is not doing well. But then you hear from certain propagandists that no, they're way more advanced than this, and they've gotten way ahead, and watch out, they're going to back all these guys. And one of the things that seems to have emboldened Trump, which I don't know if it's so great or not, but because part of this, as we said too, is it seems like, well, maybe he's just extra happy they found some sort of like 5th generation warfare that they can just cut off the heads of people. They got some sort of Palantir stuff, and they can just push a button and take out any leader anytime, anywhere. And they're drunk on that a little bit right now. I don't know how much of a good idea it is or not, but
I don't know, but it's interesting to see. So Trump's like a flexed United States muscle more than any other president that I can think
for
of.
sure.
And it's interesting to see how people talk. I think people put down the United States a lot all over the world, and they always have. But then when you have a president that flexes, it seems like they just cave. You know what I mean? They
Yeah,
just
it's so wild. It's so wild how that happens. I think it's always a problem in the long run. Like the next 20 years are always a
Yeah.
problem. So like they can judo us to make us overextend ourselves, but the immediate fight is always we just obliterate them. Flip, is that you?
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm just
you
in the
still at
car
work?
driving home.
Oh,
I'm
sweet.
pulling out of the parking lot right now.
Nice. Of your last delivery?
I mean, well, there's the last delivery was like 40 minutes ago, and then there's all the wrapping up stuff.
Gotcha. So
Hey, Flip.
what do you
Hey.
think? What do you think on this? This is on the screen now, just the announcement of when Al Jazeera or whatever finally admitted, because they wouldn't admit at first, that the Ayatollah was killed.
I guess
And-
I didn't even follow that, but they didn't want to say it.
Yeah, they didn't. They were saying the opposite. It was announced on Twitter and all over the place first, and then Al Jazeera and those different Iran was saying, no, he's not dead. He'll be on the. They said he'll be back on the battlefield soon. They said that.
On the battlefield.
Yeah.
86-year-old bishop.
Yeah. And then they finally admitted it like a while later. Yeah.
I mean, I like Babylon B. Just did that thing about all the headlines, about the war from all the different things, and
Choice.
and
There it is. Here it is. It's
yeah,
on the screen.
and and like again, appreciate the Babylon Bee because they do actually rip on conservatives, they rip on Christians, they rip on everybody, and they kind of hit the nail on the head about everybody just wants to see it the way they want it to be.
It's such a seesaw listening to everything. It's a complete seesaw. But
I did listen today to a Free Press interview with a guy, and it was like refreshing take
the
where
guy
he's
who said it
basically
was
like,
China.
yeah,
It's
like
about
this is
China.
all about China, guys. Like,
Yeah, I
it's a
listened to
little
that
bit
one too.
about Israel, and it's a little bit about Iranian terrorism and all this crap. But like, it's China. That's why
Yeah,
we're
I
really
liked
doing
his
this.
framing of like how Israel saw Hezbollah, which needed to be taken out. That's how the U.S. sees Iran, because Hezbollah was funded by Iran, and Iran is the U.S.'s Hezbollah because that's run by China, and all of them have just funded endless amounts of crap for years. And I've seen a bunch of libertarians claim that there's no proof. There's no proof of any of that funding of terrorism that they've done over the years in Hezbollah and with.
That's extremely retarded.
Yeah, I looked it up on Grok,
that's like the
and
people who
Grok
say,
seemed to be like, "What are you talking about?"
it's just like the people are like, what do you mean Soros funded DA? There's no proof. Soros didn't sign the check.
Yeah, it seems to be exactly that. And I was kind of shocked for them to, because I've listened to a lot of those guys talk a whole lot, and I've never heard them suddenly say, "There's never even really been any proof that they're the major funders of all these things." And I'm like, "What?"
No, like this is one of those things where it's like, I mean, it's just such a weird gaslight where they're gaslighting themselves. It's like, what do you think Iran means when they say death to America, death to Israel, right? Like, so you combine that slogan with like, oh, well, what's their religion? Oh, they're an apocalyptic death cult. Interesting. According to them, that's what they believe.
Flip, can you explain to me a little bit like what the difference between the Shia and the Sunni are? Because I know like most of the Arabic world, the Sunni, and it's really kind of just in Iran, Iraq, and maybe some places of Oman and a little bit of Afghanistan that have the Shia. And how much do they like or hate the other, the Sunni?
A lot. Like it's. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird where it's like, I mean, I think it's kind of similar to Christians, where like when it's Christianity versus anyone else, then it's like they're all, hey, crusades. But when you get Mormons and Baptists in a room together, you know what I mean?
So it's like the Venezuelans and the Mexicans who hate each other, but then they'll go against Gringo a little bit.
I mean, that's what it really seems like. Because the thing is, like, and the thing is, like, the split goes all the way back to the very. I mean, it literally goes right back to the death of Muhammad. The whole split happened was because
that's when it happened. It was like a Joseph Smith.
It is. It's literally like a Joseph Smith, like a Brigham Young versus Joseph Smith III type situation.
Well, I didn't know it was that fast.
Yeah, so Muhammad died, and there was basically two factions. One wanted Ali, who was Muhammad's nephew / brother-in-law. Another thing that goes all the way back to the beginning of Islam is consanguineous marriage. Everybody thought Ali would be the one to take over, but instead there was like a power struggle, and Abu Bakr, the camel daddy, he took over.
Oh, that came back up again, camel daddy.
Yeah.
Look at Jared. I thought Jared was too sick to pop in.
And so
I wasn't even going to pop in, but then I saw Steve finally gets on because he's like, oh, Jared's not going to be there. So, it'll be safe for me to come on.
But there's this, so both Sunni and Shia, well, so the Shia say that Ali was the only true successor to Muhammad, and they also believe that the Caliphate, the leader of the Islam, has to be a blood relative descendant of Muhammad or his family. And so they believe like Ali and then Ali's kid and so on and so forth. Then there's the 12th Imam thing who disappeared and they're waiting for him to come back. Meanwhile, the Sunni they believe in what they call the Rashidun, the Khalifa Rashidun, which were the rightly guided ones. So there's Abu Bakr.
Listen.
Then
I thought
Umar, and then
I thought I was being a bit rude, asking Flip something offhand about this stuff, and here he is in the Flipopedia page number 5. Yeah, no, keep going. Yeah.
But so they had Abu Bakr, Uthman, Umar. I might have gotten the Umar and Uthman mixed up, and then Ali was. So the Sunnis believe that Ali was a caliph, but they believe that he came after the other three. Then there was this Battle of Karbala when I see, like now I'm getting the details fuzzy, but there was a huge battle that Ali's family, like his son and grandson, I think, were murdered by who became the Sunnis, and that was where the split really happened. That's where the faction of Ali and the faction of the Sunnis hated each other ever since. And then there's even a third group, the Ibadi, who were a weird break off of them, where it's like, because at one point they decided to have peace between the factions instead of fighting a war, and they came to a decision. And this third party was like, no, we should have fought it out, and then whoever wins is who God wants. And so, but they're a tiny group. They're in Oman. That's like the third branch of Islam, but they're basically tiny compared to Sunni and Shia. But no, it literally goes all the way back to the first few years after Muhammad's death.
You might, I don't know, you might be able to convince somebody who doesn't read NPR with your Jewish tricks there, but I read NPR, so I know that history started yesterday.
The other thing is that like the Shia have a slightly different version of the Shahada, because the Sunnis say I witness that there's only one God who is Allah and Muhammad is his prophet, and then the Shia add and something about Ali. I don't even remember now, but yeah, no, it is crazy. Like when you read the history of early Islam, you're like, how did anybody believe that this is like the restoration of God's one revelation on earth? Because like it was literally immediate war, it's assassinations, it's backstabbing, because like part of the deal with them, like when they elected Abu Bakr, Ali and his faction acquiesced, and like, but the deal was that when Abu Bakr died, it had to go back up to the vote of the Ummah, but he immediately went back on it and he named his son to be the next leader, so that like kicked off another fight. Like of the first three, like I think two of them were assassinated or died in battle. Like it's really crazy. Like because you'd think like if like you just imagine like, well, Muhammad got the final revelation and it was all peace and love ever since, and like nope, it was immediate war.
That is crazy. You remember all that? Because I mean, I've read about the Mormon split multiple times, and I don't think I could regurgitate that much detail about that.
You can pour as much energy into things like this as I pour into like dumb fantasies here, because I could talk that much about like Lord of the Rings or Dragon Ball Z or whatever, but I'd say all about that.
Yeah, I mean,
I did hear Apologia was talking about, he was reviewing some Christians arguing about Christian doctrine, and he said something about like, I enjoy lore debates between fans of the Jesus literary universe. I thought like that's pretty accurate. Like that's what Christianity is. It's the Jesus literary universe.
Starry Skull says they did make it to Spain. Yes, that's something I do know about because I know the history of Spain a lot better. 611, and they got chased out of Spain some years later, and that's why Spanish is so close to Arabic
Well, here's a fun
Latin mixed with Arabic. Yeah.
Here's the trivia question. What is the one European language that is in the Semitic language family?
Italian.
Basque.
No.
Basque country.
No. Maltese.
Oh,
Maltese
wow.
is a direct descendant of Arabic.
Wow. How the major news outlets are reporting the death of the Ayatollah. Boom, we blew up the bad guy, and your liberal aunt is literally shaking. The New York Times, the fragile politics of a tyrant. Why we'll miss his quiet dignity. That's actually true. I mean, let me click back on it because here I have the Scott Adams thing came up. Scott Adams, the Grace Dilbert creator, dies at 68, and here New York Times, Ayatollah Khomeini, hardline cleric who made Iran a regional power, dies at 86. Oh, and then you have this point of view. You're an Iranian terrorist waking up to your 72 versions this morning, and it's Nick Fuentes. What happens more? Does Nick Fuentes announce he's no longer voting Republican, or does David Archuleta come out of the closet more? Like, which is the more common announcement?
Well, Nick Fuentes has done this before, but yeah, I saw him recently tell everybody not only stay home but go vote Democrat.
Yep, he did. And I guess that's news, like David Archuleta coming out of the closet again. There's his son there. I'm going to go back to the Newsmax. Trump personally flew the jet and hand-delivered the missile. Evidence pending. Why a power MS Now. Why a power vacuum in Iran is actually a win for white supremacy in Ohio. CNN. A mostly peaceful assassination. Why fireballs are actually signs of hope. Do you see that CNN's got Paramount and CNN got picked up? Paramount was picked up by Warner Brothers or whatever was picked up by Paramount.
Vice versa.
Which puts it in CNN is being taken over by Barry Weiss and Ellison. So
That's one thing I think is funny is that how like in
far right lesbian
short
Jew.
Years,
yeah,
Barry Weiss went from being like at least in the perception a woke liberal to now she's an arch conservative. Like it's funny. Like I see on NPR and stuff. I see so many comments about how like, well, CBS is basically Nazi now because they hired Barry Weiss, who's like pretty fucking moderate. I mean, she is a Jewish lesbian, but by woke standards.
Well, it's.
Oh damn it! I missed my exit. Sorry, that was commentary nobody needed.
Well, it's just this one. It's just the one issue. This Israel issue just drives everybody insane. It makes them. You can't talk to people because that's the one issue that'll lose you. It'll even lose you with the Groypers. Like if you agree with Groypers hardline on literally everything, and you say, "But Israel should, is doing the right thing," you're gone. But it's the same with the.
The guy, I don't know his name, the guy who does the comedy bits with Ryan Long. He did a short about
Danny Polishuk.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
I never even knew his name, but he just did a bit about like everybody. My family think I'm crazy because my hobby is counting how many Jews are in things.
Yeah.
I count how many Jews are in things. He also did another one that the Iran regime is now going to have to wave the white flag because one of their threads was leaked. One of their comment threads was leaked, and it turns out they're all racist, and so now they're all resigning in shame. Cosmopolitan, is your man a dictator? 10 red flags and 3 sexy ways to overthrow him. If you're HuffPost, if you're happy he's dead, you're basically a colonizer. I don't know. Was he really that evil? A 10,000 word essay on why we should all just hug it out. ARC, HVT confirmed, roast level crisp, objective complete. Now can we finally get some coffee that isn't from a chow hall? Al Jazeera, a single infinite scream in the 4K resolution. Yeah.
The Daily Wire, just fapping noises.
The fapping noise. Well, except for Matt Walsh has been. That's
I'm just talking Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro is all gung ho for this happy dappy. But
creaming his head.
The actual Justice Warrior did that review of that. There was a sociologist, a totally credentialed sociologist, who said that the reason that why so many black people have beeping smoke alarms is because they have trauma from racism.
Really?
Yep. He made a totally scholarly, a research, scientific, scholarly connection between white supremacy and beeping smoke detectors.
Oh my gosh!
Because it's about frontal cortex stuff. It's the trauma of the historical trauma of racism makes it so that they don't have the wherewithal to buy a battery and change the smoke detector battery.
Hey, I got a question. Is it just a coincidence that the one guy was Khomeini and the other guy was Khomeini?
I think it is just a coincidence. I think it's
My
like
wife
Goodson
was
and
asking me
Dotson.
about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's just like our language is like there's green with an E and green without an E, and
there's a couple guys named Mohammed over there. A few.
yeah.
The next Ayatollah should be a woman of color. I don't know. On this one, though, you kind of get why. I mean, the White House did the messaging, the thing from Marco Rubio, where he said the timing of this was pushed by Israel. You can kind of get why people did that. And the thing came out like a week ago with Mike Huckabee and Tucker Carlson. Did you see that whole conversation?
A new one?
I was going to talk about, it was like only like a week ago or something like that. And people were losing their minds because in it, Mike Huckabee, as the ambassador of the U.S. to Israel, said that the whole Greater Israel Project is theirs to take if they want to take it. And they said that might have like upset some of the other people in the region, like the Saudi Arabians and all that sorts of stuff. But one of the things that drives you crazy about all that stuff is Tucker asks Mike Huckabee if Israel has a right to Israel, and he says, yeah, it's promised them 3,000 years ago, and plus that whole other area. And then he asks, but can Ireland be for the Irish? And he goes, I don't know. And you just kind of feel like with like the whole Israel thing, as I've been saying, is like, I feel like we would all kind of jump on backing you better if you just also could say, and Ireland should be for the Irish, type stuff.
We need another
Yeah,
angry
neocons
German.
are woke, but only for Jews.
We need an angry German to try to kill all the Irish, and then it'll be okay.
That's how you
For
get
Irish. That's how you get it.
That's how you
Germany
get
has to try to kill you, and then you get to have your country.
You just need a quick Holly. The bullet hitting Trump in the head. Venezuela and Iran remain oppressed by authoritarian dictators. Bullet misses Trump head. U.S. citizens protesting in favor of dictators. Breaking news. This is one of the things. This is one of the things I love about like the ex-Mormon world, that they seem to be like. I bet you they would cheer this too in the Mormon Church. Kim Jong-un is set to formally name his daughter Kim Ju-ai as North Korea's next leader. If true, this would be a huge win for feminism. Women are grossly underrepresented in the dictatorship and authoritarianism fields. What do you think that all of our good old ex-Mormon influencer friends would think if the Mormon Church 100% flipped and made all the leadership women? Would they then?
They would think that we're going. They would think that we're. Well, yeah, they would think that we're going in the right direction because they would think that would mean policy change. That's just exactly what happened when Japan elected its newest prime minister. I can see it's like that meme where with the black dude where he's all excited and then his face falls, because it's like Japan elects first female prime minister ever, yeah, and then she's a hardline conservative, says homosexuality should be illegal and bans immigration entirely, and they're like, oh. Never mind. Like that turns out you didn't really care about progress.
I almost made a feminist girl cry once when I was at my friend's house, and she just had another friend who was like a young lady, and she didn't know who I was, and she said something about like we wouldn't have so much corruption if we had more female leaders, and so I just did the Flipipedia thing, and I just listed off all of the female leaders from just the last year or two, who were implicated in human rights abuses and corruption, and this was like 6 or 7 years ago, but I'm like, there's the president of Korea, the president of Liberia,
New Zealand,
Mugabe's wife, Argentina, New Zealand, something like the Argentinian lady, I just started rattling them all off, like point at a female leader and I'll show you the corruption and human rights violations. Like, where do you, like, it's just so weird, like, just the ignorance that it takes to say, like, oh, well, women can't do bad things if they're in power. Like,
I think a lot of people don't think about
colony in the history of the world was Queen Victoria.
Look at this video on the screen, this Twitter screen. That is the new Japanese prime minister's party that put out this thing about you can't let immigration of dark people in or they will overbreed.
Oh my
This
God.
is directly from that party in Japan.
I think a lot of people don't think about like when you make a claim, what you would have to know, the things that you would have to know in order to back up that claim. Because I don't know if I were to try to make that claim that, oh man, if only female leader, I'm banking that off of what I know, and all I know is U.S. presidents, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I don't even think for a second like I should probably maybe look at other female leaders across the world. But it's the noble Floyd, I guess, like the noble savage. But for what you just assume that if it's a woman, she would do the right thing because you're retarded.
Just a few years ago, there was a few years ago somebody, and I think it was a leftist type, a scholarly type. They did a historical survey of European monarchs throughout all of the Dark Ages and Middle Ages, and they found that female monarchs were slightly more likely to start a war than the men.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which was, and the reason was, of course, because of patriarchy. Because the women, the women were assumed to be weaker, so in order to show that they weren't weak, they were forced to start wars.
Well, if we
using an army of men.
Exactly.
If we only had a woman
I
president
want the
here,
Iranians to know that if I'm the president, we will attack Iran. Whatever stage of development they might be in their nuclear weapons program in the next 10 years, during which they might foolishly consider launching an attack on Israel, we would be able to totally obliterate them. That's a terrible thing.
we could have had this 8 years ago.
I like that she says that when I think that when after she's, Obama's on his way out, and she's no longer Secretary of State, and it's like, that's weird. You were Secretary of State under Obama, and what did Obama do with Iran? He gave them that sweetheart deal, and the famous pallets of cash thing, where it's like, what are you talking about, Hillary? Like, you're saying that now?
Yeah, I remember one of my friends telling me about that deal, and he's trying to sell me on Obama, and I wasn't really paying attention to politics very much at the time. I was like, okay, I'll read about it, and I read up on the deal, and I asked him, so like, what's the deal? Like, what do we get out of this deal? He's like, what do you mean? Iran doesn't get what we don't get anything. This is a one-sided deal. I can't even remember the entire deal. I just remember reading it.
It was really bad.
Gave them a bunch of money to not build.
We gave them a bunch of money, and they were still able to continue developing their bomb.
And because that money was fungible, they were still able to use that to send to Hezbollah. So we were funding Hezbollah essentially there for a while. Sam Harris is back on the Trump train.
Choo-choo.
More like Juju. Just kidding. Latter-day Lobsters had it, and they just said all war is bad. Jonathan noticed, said, great stream, guys. The ethics of war don't. Great talk, guys. Never forget the Ayatollah and these two guys. This is the anti-Semitic stuff they're saying out there that the Jews are pushing us all into it. Lindsey Graham this morning, Jared shared this one of him. He's also saying that we need to go attack another country now too already.
All right, I got to bail, but I'm gonna continue listening.
Okay.
I'd probably better get out of here too, anyway.
Did you guys want to say anything,
Jared? When you get sick, do you call into work and say you have radiation sickness, and then everybody panics?
I should, but they have records on my dose that I received, and it's what I'm doing. I get we're allowed 700 millirem a year, and I get maybe 1.5 on a
How many do I get?
More than that.
Oh,
I get more than that too, just from background radiation, or from the sun, or from eating a banana.
Well, professional pilots, right?
Oh yeah, they get a lot more. You get more than that in the single mouth X-ray.
Weird.
Did you guys want to say anything to Steve while you had Steve here?
No, I'm happy he jumped on. I'm sad I didn't get to have more Steve time.
Well,
We
hey,
should have.
it's nice to talk to you guys face to face.
Yeah, no, you should come on more often.
I wasn't even gonna jump on because we just got here and we're chatting with family. But then I saw Steve. And I was like, oh, gotta jump
Yeah.
No,
on.
we could just call and talk to each other on the phone. That's what we used to do when I was a kid.
That's
Ah,
that's
Yeah.
weird times. That's weird times.
weird.
I remember that, and then call waiting happened, and it was like a technological revolution. That was like
Oh,
that
yeah.
was that was the first internet, was being able to get one call
Oh,
while you had a call.
wait a second. I got to get you guys' take on one thing.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
one
You gotta.
thing.
Did you see this?
I was
What
like,
is that?
okay, well, okay, is he being cringy? Yes, he's being cringy. I know he's being
Who
cringy.
is that?
wars and not
Just
be
run back. Is he
involved
Oh,
begging?
in the
Is he
world's
begging to be a
policemen.
citizen of
But there are
Israel again?
He's talking to AI George Washington in a polo.
Oh man!
times that we have to demonstrate strength in order to prevent conflict. But I don't know where the foreign entanglement begins and where it ends.
When I was president, I did not crave power. I didn't strut in my uniform, dreaming of conquest. In fact, I begged several times to not be the general and not be the president. I didn't want it. But
I didn't even
understood my
chop down that cherry tree.
responsibility.
Goddammit!
I won't play the whole thing, but the AI George Washington agrees with attacking Iran. You know,
No way!
well, I mean, there's this one other clip from it right here.
Does he say something about Barbary pirates?
Well, listen to what he asked George right here.
George, we are trying to not fight foreign wars and not be involved in the world's policemen. But there are times that we have to demonstrate strength
Wrong, George.
in order to prevent conflict.
Wait, what's he say?
That's the stupidest thing I've seen.
What did the other one say?
Yeah, what did George Floyd say?
Oh, George, he never says anything. They just cracked.
Oh, bummer.
In there. It's only 20 seconds long.
Foreign wars.
But what on earth was he thinking doing this? He
He
puts him
doesn't-
in polo.
He has no
You
idea how
should
to
at
not be
least
cringy.
have the guts to put him in the hat, the three corners.
I know.
Come on. And hey, George, pull out your wooden teeth. Show us that.
Yeah, I can't believe. I cannot believe it.
That's the other thing. Like, did he ask George any hard hitting questions? Like, all right, enough about foreign politics. Let's talk about the slaves. Why didn't you free them, George?
Yeah, oh yeah, I guess he could have gone that route. Was America ever really that great, George? Jeez.
That's like I want to do the NPR version of this, where like the NPR lady interviews George Washington, and it's all just the grilling.
They had an
America was a
AI
bad
version.
idea, isn't it, George?
I saw one where they had an AI version of Frank Zappa, and all the Zappa fans are always arguing about whether or not he would have liked Donald Trump if he was still alive today. So they asked this AI version if what he thought about Donald Trump, and somehow he managed to answer it by not committing. It's still sounding smart, but not really committing.
I don't know what these people are thinking of going around and getting AI to agree with them on stuff like it's any sort of dunk on anything like that.
I can find a clip of Glenn Beck making fun of somebody else doing this exact thing.
I bet.
We should get AI guests. Who would we get?
I
Bugs
know
Bunny?
of one that the AI kid who was talking against guns that they put back.
Yeah, the kid that died in Sandy Hook, and he would be like 22 right now, and here's what he would look like and sound like.
Yeah.
That one was.
I'd rather be alive.
Well, I mean, actually, since you
What do you think of guns? Not a fan.
Actually, since you guys are getting off, I was thinking of just doing a shorter show this week. Cut it in half anyway. So we might as well wrap up Steve. And Steve, thanks for coming on. But I don't know if there's any like last stuff you guys wanted to say on Iran. I'm not going to play this whole clip. If you didn't know, Whoopi Goldberg pointed out that the U.S. is worse than Iran, so we have no place to.
There was a thing because I had a total autism moment a couple weeks ago because I was driving in my car for work like I do, and I was listening to Moving Pictures by Rush, And you know that song Red Barchetta? You know, it's a great song, and it's like it tells like, you know, it's a real story. It like lays it all out there about a dystopian future where motor cars are illegal, and he's got a crazy old uncle who keeps a red Barchetta in perfect condition, and once a week he goes and tears around the countryside until the future police chase him. And I'm listening to the song, and I've listened to it, you know, a bajillion times before, but then I had this moment of like, where did he get enough high octane gas to do this? Like in this story. And it was a very autism moment because I was like, hang on a second, you know, like an old car like that, it needs new spark plugs every once in a while. Like, how are you doing this? This story makes no sense. Neil Peart forgot the extremely important detail. He needed another 5 minutes where he describes how they refine oil, and he makes his own high octane gas for an old Ferrari V8.
Anyway, did you see Bart Ehrman was on the Mormon Stories?
Jeez, I love Bart so much, but mixing him with John DeLynn just sounds like hell.
Is that an old one or a recent one?
He just redid it. He just came back on. Yeah.
I saw an old one like 10 years ago, I think.
Yeah, they did an old one. It's a new one. I mean, it's not that different. He just said there's contradictions in the Bible, which that's not that much of a dunk on Mormons, is it really? You know what I mean?
See, like, if it was Bart Ehrman, like, he's like, all right, I read the Book of Mormon. That would be fun. I'd like
he
to
said
hear
he
that
did.
one.
He said he did.
How long?
He did once, but yeah, he said he did, and he gave notes to his friend, but it was so long ago he doesn't remember any of it. But and that's about it. Yeah. But I mean, I was just him saying there's contradictions in the Bible, and that doesn't dunk on Mormons, right? So what's the big whoopty? And
yeah, Mormons knew that.
Yep. So whoopity do. Anyway, yeah. Any last thoughts on Iran, the way the world's going before we hit the next week? Any other stuff going out there, and Steve, thanks for jumping on. We told the story of Dick Dilly. You saved the day, Steve, but we also talked about.
I'll have to go back and listen to that.
They're bringing scouts back so the Dick Dillies can come back. I don't know if that's
I mentioned it earlier, but Dick Dilly lives out there in Salt Lake City now. So.
Really?
Is he still alive? Isn't he like 80?
I think so. It's hard to be sure, but I tried to track him down. He's been in prison more than once. He went once and he got out. And then he became a motivational speaker.
Oh, Lord.
And I guess he was pretty successful at it, what I heard.
Well, you got one running for office right now.
But yeah, then he went and he molested another kid, and this was in Bountiful, in a scout troop in Bountiful. And then
since Elizabeth Smart's the female who kidnapped Elizabeth Smart's free, we should set her up with Dick Dilly. They can create a whole other thing. So yeah, I keep continuing the story and come back on and tell us more about. What's that?
I've tried to find him. I want to actually get in touch with him. I don't have like any real anger towards the guy. I think he's kind of weird, and I have a lot of funny memories about him. So
that's so interesting. Like somebody's like lived through it, not having the.
See, but
wait. How are you going to go on? How are you going to? If you go on John DeLynn show, you need trauma. You got to tell the trauma.
You got to cry.
I just think my trauma is so deep I don't even know I have it. I guess.
Norm Macdonald had that. That's how Norm Macdonald did it.
Well, you missed a show a couple weeks ago, I guess, where we were talking about how the only appropriate thing to do when you're talking about pedophiles is one-up each other on how horribly they should be slaughtered.
Yeah, that's what we brought up. The Ayatollah, if you didn't see earlier, the Ayatollah was writing about it's okay to diddle the pedophiles. And I was told by all these different, dissident right-wingers that it'd be fine to glass the planet for somebody who was a pedophile. And so Trump did that. And nope, that was not good enough. This screenshot here kind of sums up what they summed up on John DeLynn's podcast when they got down to the end of it. Progressive Christian offers new, more open, less judgmental Christianity. No, wait, it's just Satan again. Troy says Red Barchetta was inspired by the short story of A Nice Morning Drive written by Richard S. Foster. Pert gave attribution in the linear notes.
Whoa. All right, you're more autistic than I am.
That's what.
Except that
I could have pegged.
this is the annoying thing about Italian, is that if there wasn't an H after the C, it would be pronounced Barchetta.
All right, I gotta go. I gotta
But the
help
H
with
after
kids,
the
so
C makes
see ya.
the C hard, so it's Barchetta.
See you, Jared.
Later, Jared.
As
Yeah,
in little
that's
boat.
So
Hello?
freeze
Uh-oh.
up.
Did I drop out?
I think
No, I can hear you guys.
Can't hear anything.
Oh, it seemed to freeze on my side. Anyway, since it's all freezing up and we covered
Well,
about what we
I
need
can't
to
hear
cover,
anything, so I'm dropping out.
we should call it good. Steve,
All right,
thank
Chris,
you so
thanks.
much for jumping on.
I'll
Today.
talk to you soon.
All right, thanks so much.